Maybe a Hernandez and now a Menendez in the same week. Ryan Murphy, you must be stopped. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, love upon it, live alone, need it. My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? We are back to talk Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. Listen, a lot's going on, and this first episode is all about Erik and Lyle. And when I tell you, I'm verklempt watching it, okay? There's a lot going on in this story. Again, Ryan Murphy, we all know that he was responsible for Monsters, the first series, which was about Dahmer, and this is the second season in that anthology series, and it's an ominous retelling of an infamous crime created by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. I didn't know if I was ready for this, you guys. Lyle is being played by Nicholas Alexander Chavez, and Erik is being played by Cooper Koch, okay? And if you know anything about the original story, have seen the Lifetime movies, the documentaries, because there have been a million of them. This happened, I believe, late 80s, early 90s, and this was like on paper, the perfect family, right? We have the father, Jose, a Cuban American, and the mother, Mary Louise, aka Kitty. And yeah, they're strict parents. The father is allegedly super abusive, physically, mentally, sexually, all of the things. And at some point, the boys get enough and they take him out. And when I tell you this is one of the most brutal unalivings, and of course made national news as these were kids that took out their parents, which is unheard of, right? And so again, Jose is being played by Javier Bardem, and Mary Louise, aka Kitty, is being played by Chloe Sevigny. Now, listen, when it comes to Chloe, anything she's in, I'm going to watch ever since Big Love. Okay. Ever since Big Love, I'm invested because she's going to come and she's going to come with the mess. Okay. And so that is kind of the premise of the story and where we're diving in. So as the episode opens up, we see them in the limousine on the way to the funeral. We see Lyle and Erik. And Lyle comes across as the more verbose and kind of larger than life, gregarious brother. And all he can talk about is this Buffalo Wing franchise that he's going to start. It's going to have music. He's cussing out the limousine driver for not having the music playing, baby, because he's obsessed with Milli Vanilli, apparently. Erik is in the car crying. He's having a meltdown. And again, they're on the way to the parents' funeral. So it seemingly that they're in the clear. We're giving speeches. And Lyle is like, if our father was the foundation, our mother was the drape. She was the curtains. She was the furnishings and the decor. And I'm just thinking to myself, what in the world? Erik is being comforted by family and friends because he actually is, he's guilty. But Lyle, even though I think he may have been plagued with something around this, again, he doesn't give that it's affecting him. I'm thinking, okay, well, how did we get to them getting life sentences then, right? Because apparently at the funeral, they're all free and clear. They're spending money. They're planning for Halloween trick-or-treaters to come. Lyle got his girlfriend, honey, and they're about to do the most, but Erik is reeling. He can't get right. Meanwhile, Lyle is living his best life. But Erik is plagued. He keeps having the same dream over and over and over again. The parents are being unalived and he can't forget it until he unalives himself in his dream. That's like the only way he can get sleep. Okay. And so he finally figures that he needs to go to the doctor. He needs to go to the psychiatrist, right? And then we meet Dr. Oziel. And you remember Dr. Oziel, the actor that plays him from The Good Wife, if you watch The Good Wife. This was Alicia's brother, honey, and he was so hilarious in that. So it's interesting seeing him in this capacity. But he's Dr. Oziel, and he is the family therapist, I believe. They allude to the fact that when the boys got in trouble before, this was the therapist that they saw. along with the parents. And so he's got a history with the family and this very weird craving to speak with him. And again, this was high profile back in that time. The Menendez family had a ton of money. They were super affluent, right? And so I was kind of going back and forth with what is his motivation? Why is he so excited to get to talk to Erik? But I think we're going to figure that on as the season grows and goes on. And so he gets in the office and basically he lets it all come out. We did it. We took him out. We did it. We watched a movie, The Billionaire Boys Club, which I need to watch. Drop it in the comments if you watched the Billionaires Boys Club. But he said he watched it, and this was all his idea. He watched it, and he said, "This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do," because the father was terrible, strict disciplinarian. But even in this session, it doesn't feel like Erik is telling the full story about the weight and gravity of his father. We flash back to some scenes on the tennis court with the father spazzing out, being really hard on them, tough on them. But outside of that, you don't, you know what I mean? You get, okay, he's an evil sports dad. You know, and I know throughout this series, it's we're gonna get the full tea on everything. And so, he tells them basically the whole story. So we watched the movie, we planned it out. I knew from the moment that we watched the movie that this was going to happen. I got Lyle on board. And so then we started planning. We bought the blickies, we did all this. And they said, well, what about the mom? Why'd you take the mom out? And now I think they took the mom out because the mom didn't do anything to protect them from the daddy. But he says, listen, she was taking pills. She was obsessed with my father, found out he had an affair, and she started taking pills after that. And she didn't want to be here no way. So we were doing her a favor. The mental disconnect that has to be in one's mind to communicate that to someone out loud and believe it is unhinged. And basically, he ends up saying to the doctor, I came here so you could tell me I'm not a bad person. And he's like, bruh, you unalived your parents. Now, again, I do think that there was a lot of trauma, a lot of things that happened, but y'all, it is so brutal when they show what happened. It's so unhinged, and the steps and lengths that they went to absolve themselves of the crime, the alibi situation, going to the movies, and Lyle spazzing out on the clerk, honey, because they couldn't get a ticket for a pass showing, them going to the wine bar, causing a scene, saying they'd been there for 4 hours. He was gonna get an alibi. Okay. And so now, everyone thinks that this was a mafia hit because the dad had wild clients. And he's kind of feeding into that narrative as well, because that's what, we want you to believe, because again, they want to get away with this crime. And so he's poured his heart out on the therapist's couch. And the doctor ends up saying, listen, you told me all this, and we need to get your brother here. We need to get Lyle here. And I'm thinking to myself, you big dummy. You big dummy, because why on earth would you want the volatile brother to come? No one needs to know that you know, Doc. No one needs to know that you know, but he got the bright idea to call him. He brings him down there. He gets down there eventually. And Lyle is such a live wire. He doesn't have any self restraint, no self control. He just spazzes and wiles out. And I said, he's going to unalive this doctor and he's going to beat Erik up. Right. And I forgot to mention this part, y'all, but this was probably one of the most unhinged parts as they're sitting at the table and we're talking about the mom, Kitty. And he feels like he's in love and he met a girl at school that he wants to marry, but the girl doesn't come from anything. The dad spazzes, but the dad wasn't even the bad one. The mama spazzed and ripped off the toupee off Lyle's head because apparently he started losing his hair at 14, 15 years old. Now, imagine the amount of trauma, stress that would cause a 13, 14, 15-year-old to start prematurely balding. I just want to sit that right there. The scene was hilarious, so I can't lie. It was actually very funny to see the wig ripped off. I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. Judge your mama, okay? Don't judge me. And so now Lyle gets to the doctor's office and, the doctor has called in somebody to be there as a witness. He said, just so they don't unalive him. But again, Lyle says, so you can't tell nobody. And the doctor said, no, I'm not going to tell anybody. He said, what are you going to do after this? He said, I'm going to go with my wife and go to dinner. And he said, good luck. and be safe. As soon as Lyle and Erik get in the car, Lyle says, "You know, we got to kill him now." I'm like, Lord have mercy. Erik just getting everybody in trouble. And now what's going to happen going forward? I don't know, y'all. But I will say it's interesting. Again, Ryan Murphy, 2 series, 1 week, 2 different networks, Aaron Hernandez, an American Sports Story, and now Monster season 2. Ryan Murphy is on a tear. I'm kind of here for it, but we're going to see because I just expect things to get wilder and wilder. You drop it in the comments. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know your thoughts. Again, if I'm rating it out of 10, I would say the first episode was a strong 7. I feel like it grabbed my attention. It set the stage. It's very salacious though. And so I sometimes struggle when it comes to a Ryan Murphy production with like the added effect, right? So that we can see something from the purview of the characters. I think sometimes things are made larger than life or super emphasized to prove a point. I think it's just part of his vision, like artistically. And so, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this story deviates from, the facts that I know about the case, just, as it being a true crime. But you guys let me know. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, honey. Okay, do all the things for your good sis. We are so close to 5K. I can taste it. And when we hit 5K, there's going to be a special celebration. But thank you for watching, y'all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.